Hey guys, Rocky here. This is great for you because I'm not your lawyer, and what I'm giving you is not legal advice. It's just what I know to be true. I've spent 25 years working on this stuff, and these are some of the things I've gathered. I will get you a lawyer that's perfectly suited for you if that's what you want. Just let me know via email, and we'll get you taken care of. Divorce in Texas. Um, what are the grounds? Well, that's real simple. There's grounds of cruelty, fraud, confinement in a mental institution or prison for over 3 years. But typically, it's a no fault state, which means it's nobody's fault, Judge. We just can't get along, and that's reason enough in Texas. You don't have to have a reason. When can you get divorced in Texas? Anytime. You just have to have lived in Texas for 6 months prior to filing the divorce petition, and you have to have lived in the county that you filed the petition in for the last 90 days. So those are the requirements for residency. How much is this going to cost is going to depend on several factors, the complexity of the case, the issues involved. Is there custody involved? That's a biggie. That's going to cost a lot more. And I'll tell you this, the judge told me when I first started practicing, he said, your advice to your clients needs to be, don't get divorced. If there's any way to save it, you need to save it, because this is hard on everybody, especially the kids. And you can't ever say anything bad about your ex, your soon-to-be ex, to the kids, because they will translate that as you're talking about them. It's a psychologically proven phenomenon. Don't talk bad about your spouse, period. Legal separation, I've had a lot of people say, well, we've been legally separated for 10 years. There's no such thing in Texas, so there's no legal separation. Once you're married, you're married. How is a divorce granted? You've got two options. Either one, you two come to an agreement and the judge signs off on it, or the trial court signs off on the verdict, and which would be a final decree of divorce. And that's the only two ways that you can get a final divorce granted. You have to go to court? Yeah. But if you've agreed to it, then it's real simple. You just go in there and the lawyer asks you a series of questions and you answer them, and they're real simple questions, and then the judge says, okay, I'll approve the divorce within the terms just recited, and all systems are go, bam, bam, off you go, divorced. Maintenance or alimony. I get a lot of that. We get a lot of questions about that, and there's pretty complicated answers to a simple question. You have to have, well, there are several circumstances that are required. You have to have lived or been married together for 10 years. In cases where there's family violence, a lot of times the court will order alimony. During the marriage, one of you becomes incapacitated so that they can't work. That's a reason. And then if there's a child of the marriage that has a mental or physical disability and it prevents the spouse who is seeking alimony from getting gainful employment, then the judge can order alimony in that case too. What about an annulment? Can you get an annulment? That is a great question, and it's a great solution if your case falls within the limited parameters of an annulment. There are several ways you can do it, and that is fraud. Somebody says that they're somebody who they're not. Duress, they force you to marry them. Under 18, drunk or high, and once you sobered up, you didn't live with them anymore. Really, that's the rule. If the one you married had been married less than 30 days and divorced, that's considered grounds for an annulment also. You have to file your petition for an annulment within a year of finding out. And just definitely get a lawyer if you're trying to get it annulled. It'll be a heck of a lot cheaper than a divorce, and if you can get it done, you're not divorced. You're not a divorcee. You're just it's like it never happened legally. Can I get remarried? Yeah, you can get remarried. Idiot, don't. Just wait. You have to get you have to wait 30 days at least before you can get remarried, which I just don't even, there's a 60-day requirement for a divorce and a 30-day requirement for getting remarried. How retarded is that? You're gonna change your name during the divorce proceedings. It's a lot simpler than if you wait and do it after the divorce. There's just a lot more complications and fees and expense and time involved in doing it that way. So during the divorce prove-up, the final proceeding, just go ahead and get your name changed, and it's a lot quicker and easier, and you can change it back to your maiden name. What if I want to change my kid's last name, but my spouse doesn't agree? The court will never approve that. It has to be agreed to. Can I move away from Texas after my divorce? Well, if there are no kids involved, you can move wherever you want. But if there are kids under 18 involved and there's custody arrangement, then normally you're not allowed to move. There are extenuating circumstances, and sometimes it can be done, but typically they're not going to let you move to a state that's not contiguous to Texas or touching Texas. And sometimes the county that you're in, they won't let you move out of that area. Do I have to get divorced if it's a common law marriage? That's a kind of a tricky one, because if no one else really says you're married and you want to get divorced and you only have a common law and you're not even sure that it's a common law marriage, then I would think long and hard about going through a divorce proceeding. Wink, wink. So that's it. Let me know if you absolutely need a divorce, and there are circumstances where you do, and nobody's going to judge you. Let me know, and I'll send you to the lawyer that's best suited for your case. If it's a simple lawyer, you don't need a $50,000 retainer rock star. If it's got a custody issue, you need a different kind of lawyer. If it's a very small estate and you don't have a whole lot to divide, there's just different types of lawyers for everything, and I can get you to the right person if that's what you want. All right, pleasure talking with you. My name is Rocky Hare.